This is Moments with Foo with James Foo Torres, better known as Foo, the show that takes you around the world to share interviews with some of the most successful and relevant people on the planet, hear their stories, and get the most important business lessons they have learned on their road to success, and get exclusive advice on how to implement their success into your life and business. Moments with Foo is brought to you by the Strategic Advisor Board and your host, Foo.
Hello and welcome to Moments with Foo. I'm your host, James Foo Torres, but you can call me Foo, hence the name of the podcast. And today I have Dr. Rob Garcia. His nickname is the Warrior Strategist. He is the founder of Shift Magazine. And I'm excited to get into it with him because we do similar things that complement each other. And we've known each other for a while. We're both veterans. It's a lot of things to talk about. But first, Rob, how are you?
What's up, Foo? Thank you for having me, dude. I've been waiting forever to get on this show, so thank you. Glad I made it on the list.
I know, like we've been talking for a long time, and we just literally, like, you didn't ask, I didn't ask you, like, so it just didn't happen. Like, it literally wasn't like I didn't want you or anything. It was just, crazy, right? Life happens, and then I've been seeing like a lot of stuff going on in content, and because I'm so big in content. And you stayed on my radar so much that it was like, oh, damn, like I saw you on another podcast too, and I really liked it, which is the Tribe and Purpose. Like I love them. I mean, Otis and Cam and Otis, they're great people. My favorite interview that I've done, to be honest, has been there. Like my favorite so far.
It has to be, yeah. I have about 225 interviews now, and theirs is definitely top 5. It was so good.
It was like they did their homework, they do notes, they really cared, they throw twist, like. I mean, I have it playlisted on my YouTube channel and everything as like my second one, like after Forbes, literally, because it's so good. So this is gonna be great. So let's kick it off with a quick introduction about yourself and your company.
Absolutely, thank you. So I do. It's very misunderstood what I do. First of all, so I'm a visibility consultant. I'm not a PR guy. I'm not a digital agency. I'm not a marketer. And a lot of people get these terms mixed up because they don't understand the difference. So I'm like you. I kind of created my own agency, and then I just started being a consultant, getting really good at what I do. And a lot of people might ask the question, like, Rob, why would you want to work with James if he's in the same field? Aren't you guys competitors? And the way that I look at it, I'm a big fan of blue ocean. So I don't believe in competition. In fact, I believe in augmenting and strengthening. And the way that I look at James is he's my special forces. So when I'm doing a visibility strategy for a client, and I need that extra, that talent, I need that boost to put them in the stratosphere. Yahoo Finance, Bloomberg, NASDAQ, like I got to get them on an amazing set of high-end media names. I'm going to call Foo, and we're going to get these done in rapid fire. So the awesomest part, the testament to what you do, Foo, that everybody should know about. I have a case study like right here. So I had a client, a high-end attorney that had a YouTube channel in Phoenix. They contacted me. They needed those big names. And so I reached out to you immediately. They had a YouTube channel that was averaging about 30 to 50 views. They had really, really high production value. It's a great looking channel. They put some money into it, but they were only getting 30, 40, 50 views, okay? Foo shows up. He does this press release. It gets on Yahoo Finance. It gets on Bloomberg. It gets on NASDAQ, all these crazy sites. They are now averaging 3,000 to 5,000 views per video in less than 6 months. That is ridiculous, dude.
Yeah, I mean, that's 10x, or 1,000x, right? Or right, like, oh, right, like, oh, damn, that's 100x actually. That's 100x, 100x.
It's 100.
Damn, that's crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah,
so that's the power of what you do, and that numbers don't lie, dude. And you just look at the time frame. You're like, okay, this is where you were. This is when the press release came out. This is when you appeared on all these sites, and then now these are your numbers. I mean, obviously, it's the power of James Foo Torres. Period. Dot. So
yeah, that's something that I tell people this a lot, and this is one big thing that I'm even doing on my content. How just something as simple as having a press release that lands on Bloomberg, Yahoo, Business Insider, and then you take that and now you add those logos with great graphic design and you put it on your cover on YouTube, on Facebook, and LinkedIn, which is like the main ones, right? As seen in or as featuring, right?
Yep.
Right. And then you add those logos there. Now when people discover you and then they land on your profiles, because they if you message them, they discover you, they will go to your profile. So if you optimize it to look like a landing page almost, and that's a huge part of the credibility. I like calling it trust indicators, right? I like positioning is great. I like calling, I have my own name for that, like trust indicators, right? And then now more and more people are willing to subscribe. So they subscribe and they stag, and then that's what that happened. So that it's amazing. It's amazing that thanks for sharing that with me and my audience.
Yeah, they need to know, man. They need to know the power of what you do. And it's interesting because more people need to incorporate a press release strategy because they're very misunderstood. And so I recently had a press release win. As you know, when you hire a good PR person, they have the option to syndicate the press release to curated journalist lists. And in plain English, it just means if you're, and I'm going to use my own client example. My client has a car garage. He fixes classic cars. So I did this option with a press release, and I picked the curated journalist list. So now it goes out to it went out to about 118 car, automotive industry, media places like radio and shows, all this different stuff. They called me personally after the press release came out, and they're like, hey, we love this guy. We want to interview him. So now he got on this real-time radio show live for a couple of hours, and it's a giant media spectacle for him. His traffic went up like crazy amounts. And then because of the press release, he's getting calls from Des Moines, Iowa. He's in Texas. So now he's got nationwide coverage. He wrote me this morning. He's being shared in India and Romania. So now he's global, and his business is just, his phone's ringing off the hook, James. So this is what the power of press releases when they're done correctly is curated journalist lists.
This is crazy. Like, and this is, I've seen this it's the power of content and publicity strategies. It's that combination, because it's not just like you said, like it's not like do a press release and sit on it, right? Like you send it to a curated list, right? And then the fact that it was a great content in it too, right? And then having a great graphic design and also content to when people land in your pages and stuff, they can see videos, they can see written content, something. So that way you give them, again, like trust indicators. And there's so many different ways to do it. The more trust indicators you have, the better, right? And that's when PR comes into play, and just, visibility in general.
Oh, exactly. And he's putting me on retainer now. He's talking to me about hiring me like permanently as his visibility guy, which is amazing. So it's good for both of us. So I want to educate your listeners and really give them some value today, because when we get into press releases, people don't understand the strategies. And there's a couple things that you can do, and this is where you're going to help me out as well. So in my own experience, you can create a press release, and I highly, highly advise not doing it yourself. It's like your dental work or your engine work. You bring in the pro. This is why. Press releases have a very stylized and specialized format. There's a word count sometimes for some sites, and you have to have it in a certain flowing format with like 7 sections. And I tagged you in this post a while back, because a press release person will understand how to write one. It's not an article. It's not a standardized puff piece about your company. It's very formatted. And so once the press release is done, one strategy is to upload it to a hosting site. And a hosting site will send it out to the thousands of media outlets out there on your behalf. It's just a big shotgun blast everywhere. And a good PR person will have those connections with the hosting sites like you do. Yours are crazy. So that's the first strategy. The second strategy is you can send it out manually to news agencies and with the message, press release for immediate distribution. And what I'm finding out is a lot of journalists or reporters will see this, and they'll just automatically turn it into a news story. And they'll run it on their sites. They'll run it in the newspaper, sometimes just word for word. They'll just grab it and take it. So that's the second strategy. And then the third one is to independently send it to journalists and reporters, like over Twitter or something, and use that as the proof. And so you can reach out to them and say, hey, did you see this story? This would make an amazing, story for the news, blah, blah, blah. We recently did a press release about this person. And that way the reporter or journalist, and that one actually has a pretty good chance of happening. The reporter or journalist can view the press release really quick, and then boom. Is there any other uses for press releases that you've been doing? Any strategies?
So the main thing that I do with press releases. So given that I use Newsfile as my main and they have this specific format, and it's mainly like the biggest thing is that you have to make an announcement, right? So what I do with that is I kick off a campaign of the announcement in general and all platforms with that, and then with that, then we do graphic design again. Like I'm a lover of graphic design because we're visual creatures, right? We want to see things that will make us feel something, right? So then people remember us. So that's why I like using, like, I get the best link, I do a graphic for that, then we use email list, we use social media, we use put him in the feature area of like the LinkedIn, having the graphic in the feature area also in Facebook, right? Like you go to my Facebook right now, you see like a graphic of me in Forbes, a graphic of me on LA Weekly, because I apply the same things to myself too, right? So those are the key things that we do, is to they're very big into increasing referrals, right? Like, so make sure that you get your warm market to know, because those are the first people that you can convert into sales right away, because they're already looking at you. They were just like, oh, I don't know. And then suddenly you threw that press release, you were in Bloomberg, Yahoo, Business Insider, even USA Today. And then boom, like, okay, I was in doubt, but now I got the confirmation that I need it. Right. So that's the one of the biggest things that we do. So that way it's like, instant like return ROI, right? Getting the referrals, getting people that's on the fence, and maximize the digital real estate, right? And then when we use, I like using the strongest link that already kind of ranked up, or the one that you like the most, and then we just use that. The other ones were like, well, they're there if you want to find them and stuff. That's cool. Obviously, it's exposure, but we just bank on one. And then that one, we make sure that we put it in so many places that it ranks higher on Google for SEO. Like you send it to a bunch of people through Instagram and all that, people click it, now ranks higher. That's something that I and there's some SEO strategies too that we do for like I think it's hoth.com, that they have like you can send a bunch of, you plug it in and then you send it a lot and you give it an SEO boost. And then that's another way, you know, if you want to increase that. So we focus a lot on SEO, getting a quick return, and just maximizing that digital real estate to have trust indicators for people when they look at your stuff.
Nice.
Yeah.
It's interesting because you and I both drive traffic and we do it different ways. And those are great shares. I use Reddit, believe it or not.
I believe it, dude. I've seen your numbers. I've been tracking your stuff too.
Some of the Reddit numbers are wild, but it's not, it's not for amateurs. Like, you have to know what you're doing. You have to figure out the rooms correctly, and you have to understand the context. But Reddit, I had one post that hit 97,000 views in under 3 weeks. And if you're doing it properly, you can definitely use it as a traffic driver. Another tip for press releases is to understand the strategy behind it, because a press release usually has one, like you were talking about, one primary link. You don't want to put any more, maybe two, but you don't want too many links. You just want one primary place a person can go when they read it. And whatever link you choose is contingent on the strategy. If you're trying to get more people to go to a Facebook business page, that's the link. If you're trying to get them to buy something specific, you take them to a sale page. If you're trying to just get more people to download your ebook freebie and grow your mail list, then that's your freebie page. And so people can pair press releases with the desired strategy. And that's another thing that people need to consider. Definitely.
Strategy is everything. That's why you see in our names right now, it says there, the Warrior Strategist, and then PR strategies, because that after you lay down the strategy, it's like setting up the GPS, right? You set up the strategy, you set up the GPS. Now it's just going through the motions, like just go to each turn, and then you might have unexpected things come up, but that's fine. You reroute, find a way, right? So that's why that if you as the audience, like they see like these keywords of like strategists a lot, like my clients are strategists, like they are, because it's like, I don't call myself a publicist, because even though I do pitch sometimes, right? And sometimes more than others when I need something to happen, but I'm more in charge, of the strategy of things. And that's when it comes in to not just like, oh, just do a press release and that's it. And how to go about it, right? How to maximize the return on it, by positioning it strategically in front of the key people that you want to see it, right? And then how to do other things that will combine very well. So like that's when you go into other marketing strategies. Like, are you doing email? Are you doing short video form content? Are you heavy on YouTube? Are you heavy on LinkedIn? Are you heavy on going on Facebook Live like Dr. Rob, right? It's about what strategy do you have that, you know, first of all, you got to test, right? And then after you test, and then, okay, just double down in the thing that works the best, right? And that's how you take. So I wanna talk about, not like we talk about all like this press release and all these different ways of really maximizing it. Other than press releases, is there anything else that you would like to give the audience, like, some takeaways based on your journey, or maybe some key things, some key secrets that you have identified that are very valuable?
Yeah, absolutely. The media mindset, the way to create a media mindset to get you ready for your interviews, you need to learn 3 words, and this is going to help you to be successful when you're trying to get more interviews. Those words are value to audience. And if you can write your pitches with the thought of value to audience and use those words in your pitches, you're going to find a lot more people are going to want to interview you. So a lot of people, and this is a natural reaction, they don't mean to do it, but they do it. They approach reporters, producers, TV stations with the "what can you do for me" mentality versus how can I serve your audience mentality? How can I be an interesting story? How can I teach somebody something really cool in an on-camera interview? So that's the shift, the mindset shift that people need to make to really be in a celebrity mindset, where they're going to come on, they're going to teach something cool, or they're going to give a demonstration, and they're going to be able to create a segment, have a producer create a segment that's going to be like very high watched. So that's what you need to think of when you're creating your media strategy, and it's your angle pretty much.
Exactly. And what I have to say about that I tell people all the time is that the idea here is for you to become an asset for the media, not for the media to be an asset for you. That's a result of you being able to land it, but you are a resource, and you are, for example, like I'm big onto national TV right now. So I very clear, it's like, hey, you are a resource for the media. You are on producer's time. So right. Now that's how you get to national TV. You become a resource. You establish that communication, and when they need you, you gotta be there, right? Like they need you now, and then obviously you reap the benefits of that. But you have to come with that mindset. I have to be flexible. I have to be the asset, the one that is serving, really, right. Not right. Just self-serving. And I know that resonates a lot with you.
Yeah, you nailed it. And what's really interesting, I'm gonna give some real client level here. If a person is thinking about, okay, how can I get more interviews? The best angle is, and I'm just gonna go through it really fast. There's like 6 or 7 that are really high sought after by producers. It's either subject matter expert, life experience, result, achievement, or live demo. Those are your big ones. So start thinking about which ones you fall under. This is crazy, James. I said I have like 225 interviews, 3 pages of Google. 90% of my interviews are not about business strategies or visibility or me even as an entrepreneur. They are about my life story going from high school dropout to Ph.D. I just wrote an article about it on Newsbreak, got shared on LinkedIn, all this stuff. But that's my own media hook, is that when people hear that, they're like, dude, I want to interview you. I want to find out like what your life was like to where you were able to go from this transition. So once you figure out your hook, what makes you interesting, in my case, it was life experience, then you're going to start, once you develop that and you formulate it, people are going to want to interview you. Subject matter expert is also very important. If you can come in, you can comment on a current event going on, or you're really, really known in a certain industry, and you come in and give your 2 cents and some industry predictions and some guidance about stuff. Subject matter expert's a big one. Result, like, hey, I started my business, I got $20,000 in the first month, something quantitative, that's a result. Achievement, I wrote a book, I started a web series, I OnlyFans, whatever. Achievement is just you probably created something and you got something out there, right? And then demo is I'm going to cook something live on camera. I'm going to give a martial arts instruction. I'm going to teach bachata. I'm going to do something in front of the camera live. So that's live demo. So those are 5 that are very powerful, and most people can fall under one of those 5 and start getting some coverage.
I love it. If you don't have, do you have this 5 or 6 already, like on an article or something? Because if you do, I need it. If you don't, then you need to make content about it, because that shit was good. You know. Yeah, like I need it. I need to add that to my notes. Like that's something that I need to study, because then I can use it for content, you know, and I can just, you know, pass on this and quote you and everything, because that was pretty good. And it's spot on. It's spot on with what I'm doing. I just haven't, it's like everything, right? Like it's sometimes you even know something, but until somebody kind of explains it on like a very like easy, punchy way, or it's like, oh shit, that's what I was doing, but I just didn't call it that way, right? So that's why I really like that, because you know, for national TV, it's just subject matter expert, right? That's what we're doing. It's like, look, what I'm telling when I'm telling clients, like you have to be willing to comment on trending topics in your industry. That is my angle. That's what we're using to get people in here. Like we have very good connections with producers, and then from there, it's like, okay, let's get experts. Like for example, like right now, I have two people that I'm pitching. It's a home remodeling company called EA Home Design. And then we have my 9-figure client that I told you about, Derek Fay. So that's the one that we're pitching. And then, you know, venture capitalist, massive success, also came from super humble beginning. So he also has that story too, that he shared it on dropping bombs and stuff. So this definitely aligns very well with what I'm doing. I just wasn't saying it like that. So I'm looking forward for that content, because I need to consume that, study it, so then I can create content about it, because I think that was spot on. Same as like I did with you know, the list that you made of like, okay, if you do this, these are the things you made, like a little it's like a checklist types. It was more like a chart, right? That I say check marks. And then I ask you, hey, can I adapt that to myself? And you say, yeah, go ahead. I share it. People loved it. So thank you for that. So I'm looking forward to share that. That's 5 or 6 steps that you mentioned, or the angles, 5 or 6 angles that you mentioned. Pretty exciting. So is there any last thoughts before we get your information to people? Because I know there's gonna be some people wanting to talk to you, but any last thoughts before we go into that?
Yeah, I'm gonna drop the biggest gold bar that anyone's ever heard on this show, and you're gonna love this, James. This is gonna excite you. So you've heard about ChatGPT. You've heard about some of the
Use it every day.
stuff. You've been using it a little bit. I'm telling you right now, ChatGPT for PR professionals is going to change the game, and this is why.
It is changing already, the game.
It lists industry-specific resources, and let me translate that in plain English for the listeners. So I have a client that, like Ted, he's the guy that has a garage, right? I go into ChatGPT, I put automotive reporters. ChatGPT kicks out 20 of them, their name, where they work. Dude, in like 20 seconds.
No way.
Now I have 20 journalists I can reach out to, curated just like that. And I could say, hey, you guys should interview Ted. He's been featured on blah, 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 blah. And that's it. But this is why it's better than
You've gotten
Google.
Contact from ChatGPT, you're telling me.
It doesn't have their contact info. It's got their name and where they work. That's good
But
enough.
then after that, you search that, right? And you look that, right? So, but you get names though. Like that's the names in
Dude, 15 names in 30 seconds? Are you kidding me? Do you know how much time that saves me? Even it's faster than Google because it's specific. If you do a Google search like that, you still get pages and pages, all this data you have to interpret. That's why ChatGPT is a game changer on an industry level, because you can type in reporters, you can type in TV producers, you can type in whatever industry person you're trying. Home decor, that's one of your clients, okay? Home decor reporters. Type that in as a query in ChatGPT, and now you can automatically get this list of people who write stories about home decor, and then there you go. You've just sped up the process, and then if you throw in a VA to go through it and just contact every person, now you look like a god, and you just sit back, crack a beer, and your clients are happy, and interviews, and everything's good with the world. ChatGPT is a game changer, and that's how I'm using it.
Yeah, well, I haven't heard this one before, so definitely that was a big one. The way that I'm using it is it's mainly for content and in every way. So I want to analyze this long article that I just want to go and read everything. I literally put ChatGPT, give me the main points, or actually say, give me a meaningful comment. In the comment, literally goes in through all the points that thing, and then I just make it my own, right? Take things out and stuff. Boom. I wanted to react to this thing. So it was a post or something. I literally recorded myself. I think I did it with Otter AI, recorded my reaction, just like spit it out, like no filter, no, like spit it out. Then took that, put on ChatGPT and put it like, give me the main points that I said in this thing. Main points, copy paste, very clean, clean it out. Same thing I do with for captions. I always got stuck on like the captions shit. Like, oh, I take the video that I'm doing. I love doing video. I'm pretty comfortable, like, as you can tell. And I do video. I take that, do the transcript, make me a detailed LinkedIn post out of this, make it my own. Oh, give me hashtags in one line. Boom, gives me the hashtags. It's like, makes sense, eliminate some or whatever. And then like my process is so much faster now. I want to create an article. Okay, so the article, I want to make it about business growth. So for business growth, give me an outline that is worthy of a national publication like Forbes. Boom, I got the outline, makes sense, clean it up. Like everything it's a tool that it's used to be able to go to the next level of what I expect the next evolution of humanity, where all the mundane tasks are just done by us. Now that's why strategy is so important, because that is the key now. It's like information available in seconds, like better than any other time. Like Google and YouTube cannot, like, it's not as good as they give you articles or videos. But when you ask specific queries, you can tell it to sound in this tone, in this tone, right? The specific tone and everything. Now it's like, how can I ask the right questions? How can I create a strategy that then I can give the right prompts, combined with my knowledge, combined with other people's knowledge, combined with things that I can make a masterpiece of content or a masterpiece of a project, period, right? Whatever you're doing. So I love this because I've always been thinking like this in like my whole life. Like I'm dyslexic, dysgraphia, like I'm talking my second language. I have a lot of things going on, but the reason that was actually became like my superpower, because I was always strategizing, how am I going to be ahead in my classes and stuff. So I put myself in a position of leadership all the time, so I can assign people the things that I didn't want to do. And then, the hardest thing, like, people didn't want to present because they were shy. I'll present. Don't worry. Like, I got that. You do the part that I don't want to do. I don't want to write. I don't want to like do this. Like, I'm just not good. I'm dyslexic. It's harder. I'm a winner. I don't like things that don't make me feel like a winner. Right. So now ChatGPT, it has become that thing that has allowed me to really unleash my creative, because it's taking care of a lot of the mundane work that I didn't like. So it's amazing. It's amazing.
It really is a game changer, because you can get the content and then you can personalize it. So you can add a couple of custom things, you can tailor it to you, and then you pop in your web link and then a couple of your thoughts, and you can make a nice streamlined piece of content. But you're right, it is rocket fuel for content production for bloggers, for people writing articles. And I've used it. I just typed in, I use it for learning, and I typed in, hey, write me an email sequence, an email sales sequence. And the damn thing just boom, 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 try this, email this, email this, email this. I'm just like, holy shit, this is teaching me like a freaking Skynet level. It's crazy.
It is insane. Like, as long as you know how to use it,
Yeah.
I mean, the possibilities are endless. So now I love it, because it has become to now, it's like, how good of questions can we ask? Like, that for me is the true next level of evolution. Like, cause like I don't want to cut my grass. I don't want to like cook or stuff. Like, if I can have a Tesla bot that is gonna be cooking for me and cleaning and stuff, that's mundane. Like, that's what I want. But now it's like, how can I take to the next level? So maybe, that's how, like, they build the pyramids and stuff. They were already another level, right? Like, maybe, as a humanity, if it doesn't end before, because we're so fragile, we can get to like higher level, right? And that's what excites me about life. It's like, how can we push the limits? How can we go further, right? That's why I like Elon, and I like all these people, because it's like, I just want to say, like, I love Elon, I love Alex Ramosi, I love Real Bradley, I love a lot of people, but that doesn't mean that I take them as like everything that they say is right or whatever, right? Like nobody's perfect. Everybody has their flaws and everything, but then they're very like big on pushing the limits on like what's next, right? Like, so that's why I identify with them a lot. Anyway, so I think this was a great conversation. There's value packed, especially we closed it out with like a bang. So I know there's gonna be some people that wanna get in touch with you. So how can people find you?
So they can find me on Facebook under Rob the Warrior Strategist, and I can be messaged there, or they can go to my magazine site and read Shift for free at shiftlifedesign.com.
Perfect. Easy peasy. And obviously, I'll make sure that you get me the links, and I have all the links sent up to make it easy for people. And again, just thanks for taking the time to come here. This was high energy, very, very packed. Like I don't think I've had somebody that we have compliment on like the visibility and authority part as well as this, right? Like I have content people, I have outbound people, I have a lot of sales people, strategists, but this strategy on a very similar field than me, but that actually complements instead of like, I don't know, the dynamic on this was spot on. And I look forward to, I need to talk to you more, man. Like I'm not talking enough to you, man. I need to have more things going because this was good.
Yeah, man. My pleasure, James. Thank you so much.
So this was Dr. Rob, and hope that I wish I could say Dr. Foo, but this is Dr. Rob and Foo, and this is us signing off.
Thanks for listening to Moments with Foo with your host, Foo. Please leave your feedback and visit strategicadvisorboard.com to get the latest and greatest business advisement on the planet. Follow us on social media for updates, and we will see you on the next episode.